Hi all, welcome to my channel Satish Vlogs. In this video, I would be explaining the concept of a interest or dividend income. What is this interest or dividend income all about? In which circumstances the interest or dividend income would get arises? What are the journal entries when the interest or dividend income has been received? How this interest or dividend income should get reported in financial statements? All these details I would be explaining in this video. With this introduction, let's move to the next slide of my PPT. In this slide, there is a diagram which depicts like a cycle. This is nothing but an accounting cycle. What is an accounting cycle? What are the various phases of an accounting cycle? All those details I had already shared in my previous video on accounting cycle. I request the viewers to go through that video before getting into the details of the current video in order to gain better understanding of the current concept on interest or dividend income. As mentioned, I would be explaining my concepts considering the phases of an accounting cycle. As part of the first phase of an accounting cycle, which is a business transaction, my business transaction is receiving receipt of interest or dividend income. Okay, what is this interest or dividend income all about? In which circumstances these incomes would get generated? Let's get into the details. When the business entity invests the amount in the equity shares with the outside company, then in such a case, whatever the amount which has been invested would be treated as an investment to our business entity. Okay, so when the outside company or in which the investment has been made, if that company declares and pays the dividend, then that income would be considered as a dividend income. Hope this is clear. Similarly, if our business entity invest the amounts in the debentures of the outside company, then in such a case, there will be a specific rate of interest would be paid by the outside company on a frequent term basis, and whatever the interest that would be receiving by our business entity would be treated as a interest income. Similarly, if our business entity invests the amounts in the bonds of the corporations or authorities, then these corporations or authorities would pay certain rate of interest on a certain term basis. So whatever the amount which has been paid by these corporations or authorities would be treated as an interest income for our business entity. With this, I hope the viewers are able to understand in which circumstances or situations this interest or dividend income would get generated. Now let's move to the next phase of an accounting cycle, which is a journalizing phase. What is this phase all about? For the business transaction, the journal entries are supposed to be recorded, right? So our business entity would be receiving the money, right? So which means the bank account needs to be debited, right? And there would be an income, right? The dividend income or interest income, etc., right? So whatever the incomes, all those incomes are supposed to be credited, because incomes fall under which account? Nominal account. What is the golden rule for nominal account? All expenses or losses are required to be debited, and all incomes or gains are supposed to be credited, right? So as the dividend or the interest are being the incomes, these needs to be credited, and the debit needs to be given to my bank account. As everybody are aware, bank account is a real account. So what comes in? What is the golden rule for a real account? Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. So our business entity would be receiving the bank, so that needs to be debited, right? So the entry is bank account data to interest income or dividend income. Okay. Now let's move to the third phase of an accounting cycle, which is a ledger creation or posting phase. What is this phase all about? For whatever the journal entries which were recorded as part of second phase or generalizing phase, for those entries, the ledger accounts are supposed to be created and the entries are required to be posted accordingly. Okay. So for which accounts the ledger accounts are supposed to be created? One is the interest income or the dividend income and the bank account, right? So the entries for these accounts are supposed to be posted in the respective ledger accounts. Now let's move to the fourth phase of an accounting cycle, which is trial balance phase. Trial balance is nothing but the summary of the balances of the ledger accounts. So we have posted entries against, or we have created the accounts for dividend income or interest income and the bank account. So the balances for these accounts are required to be updated in the trial balance, right? So the balances under the debit side of the trial balance should matches up with the balances which are being updated under the credit side of the trial balance, because as we have been following double entry system of bookkeeping, there shouldn't be any discrepancy between debits and credits. The amount should get matches up. Now let's move to the last phase of an accounting cycle, which is a financial statement phase. What are the critical statements which are forming part of the financial statements? One is the income statement and the other one is the balance sheet, right? As I had already stated, this interest income or dividend income falls under the nominal account. So the balances against the interest or dividend income are supposed to be updated in the credit side of the income statement as an incomes. Okay. And whatever the amount which has been received, okay, that is currently parked under bank account, right? Or the bank has been received, right? So that needs to be shown under the current assets of the balance sheet under the asset side. Okay. And these balances we normally update in the income statement or financial statements from the amounts which are being updated, considering the amounts which are being updated in the trial balance, right? With this, I hope the viewers are able to understand what is this interest or dividend income all about, in which circumstances the interest or dividend income would get generated, what are the general entries which are supposed to be posted, and how these incomes are supposed to get reported in the financial statements. If the viewers like this video, request you to like this video, like it, share it to your friends and subscribe my channel for more videos. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video. Take care. Bye.